I'm sure everyone loves kicking back and just watching cartoons. My favorite cartoon of all time would have to be Scooby-Doo. It's hilarious, there's like adult humor in it, and then the mysteries are always entertaining. But looking back at some other cartoons, I realized that they definitely were not appropriate for kids. Hey everyone, what's going on, and welcome back to Top 5. I'm your host for today, Lindsay Ivan, and today I'm bringing you the top 5 cartoons that are actually horrifying. Starting off this countdown, we have Real Monsters. This show is about monsters in training. Ickis, Crumb, and Oblina are all monsters who attend a school to learn how to frighten humans. Now, the design of these monsters alone are terrifying. Let's start off with the scariest looking one, Crumb. Just look at him. Okay, he's a weird creature that literally has detached eyes, so he's always stuck holding them in the air. And then he's just covered in hair and looks disturbing. His scare tactic is to use his grossness to frighten humans. Next, we have Oblina. Oblina is a long black and white serpent looking monster. She can contort her body in many ways and can scare humans with her teeth, lips, and tongue. Then you have Ickis, who looks like a little gremlin. Ickis can become red and his teeth turn sharp when he scares people. These monsters alone are they're horrifying. But honestly, I applaud the animators. Like, they definitely got creative with these characters. Like, who comes up with this naked looking dude that's holding up his eyes? Incredible. In our fourth spot, we have Tales from the Crypt Keeper. I'm sure all you 90s kids remember this show, because I certainly do. So this show was inspired by the comic series and the adult HBO show Tales of the Crypt. They then altered it to make it child friendly. So they removed the blood and the gore from the live action show, but there were still some episodes that were quite horrifying, especially for young children. Alright, so the Crypt Keeper plays the host of the show who introduces what each episode is going to be about. The series then goes on and talks about classic legends like vampires, zombies, and werewolves, so on. Now, in the episode titled The Weeping Woman, Camille and Mildred visit a haunted Victorian mansion. At night, they are woken up by creepy moaning and objects flying around. That's when they see the Weeping Woman, an old, eyeless, and teethless woman with scraggly gray hair and long black nails. The second night, the woman looks even more terrifying with red glowing eyes. She ends up chasing the girls around the house. Then you have the episode titled Sharon Share-alike. This is an episode about a girl named Shauna who refuses to share her toys with her little sister Katie. As a result, she hides one of her old toy dolls in the vent so her sister can't play with it. Then the doll ends up coming alive and haunting her. This episode is freaking creepy, with the doll just coming alive and saying things like, "You're not nice, I don't like you," in that creepy doll voice. The doll ends up chasing her all over the house, giggling and chanting her name. If you find dolls creepy, then that episode is not for you. Moving on, at number 3, we have Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy is another classic cartoon. This time, this one is known to be more dark and twisted. So Ren and Stimpy is a satirical animated show about Ren, an aggressive, mentally unstable chihuahua, and Stimpy, a dim-witted cat. Now, okay, yes, I understand, the show is meant to be more dark for the sake of comedy, but there are still moments where people have definitely been creeped out. In fact, one episode of Ren and Stimpy titled Man's Best Friend was banned from Nickelodeon because of its extreme violence. But yet, that's not the only episode that's been filled with explicit content. In the episode titled Stimpy's Fan Club, Ren and Stimpy receive a bunch of fan mail. However, it's all for Stimpy and none for Ren. That night, Ren goes completely insane from the jealousy. He stays awake, talking to himself and feeling guilt for writing letters back, insulting the fans. In this scene, they actually make a really clever reference to the play of Macbeth, with Ren claiming that his hands are dirty and the dirt won't come off. The episode continues with him planning to murder Stimpy in his sleep by snapping his neck. His brain then begins to sting and swell before he's engulfed by the flames of hell. Oh, did that rhyme? It did. In another episode titled Rubber Nipple Salesman, Ren and Stimpy own a rubber nipple business and go door to door in their neighborhood to sell their product. They knock on the door of one house and a horse answers the door. This horse is clearly a deranged killer. He ends up looking at them and saying, "Maybe I should make another mistake. Maybe 2 more." The way he says it is just way more creepier. Then he pulls out a walrus and asks them if they have any rubber walrus protectors. The walrus begs them to call the police. Okay, it's actually quite hilarious, but then if you think about it, very, very creepy. In our second spot, we have Martin Mystery. Honestly, I love this show. It's really well done. It's like the perfect balance between comedy, mystery, and horror. And can't lie, I had a little crush on Martin, but I know I wasn't the only one. So this show surrounds Martin Mystery and Diana Lombard, two 16-year-old step-siblings that work for an organization referred to as the Center. Basically, their job is to solve cases and protect people from supernatural threats. And we can't forget about Java, a 200,000-year-old caveman that also helps them with their investigations. So there are multiple episodes that are just completely messed up. The one that I remember giving me nightmares when I was younger is the episode titled Revenge of the Doppelganger. Basically in this episode, women are being attacked by some kind of electrical shadow that completely erases their faces. Again, I'm rhyming, I'm so good. Okay. In the episode, this creature attacks multiple women that all have similar features and steals their faces, leaving them looking like creepy mannequins. And then we have the episode The Body Swappers, which is a reference to the movie The Thing. This episode begins with a young girl fleeing for her life from some kind of creature. All you can hear are her screams as the monster attacks her. Basically, this organism creature goes around using humans as its hosts. In the episode, the organism gets to Diana and eventually turns her into this monster with like large sharp teeth. Ugh. The monster itself is a big slimy creature with huge fangs and long tentacles. There are plenty of other horrifying creatures seen throughout the series, like the Boogeyman, a giant humanoid with red glowing eyes and 3 branches on his forehead, Hexen, a 15-foot tall eyeless creature, and the Mothman. No explanation needed for that one. And in our number 1 spot, we have Courage the Cowardly Dog. How on earth was I allowed to watch this show as a kid? From possession to demons and sadistic villains, this show is anything but kid-friendly. So this show is about Courage, a pinkish purple anthropomorphic dog, and his owners, Eustace and Muriel Bagg. Each episode, they are encountered by a paranormal or supernatural entity or force, and Courage, who is anything but courageous, has to save his owners. Now, this show is just filled with creepy villains, gore, and violence. One of the episodes that scared me as a kid was the one titled King Ramses' Curse. That's right, the Egyptian pharaoh makes an appearance in this episode. So Eustace ends up finding and keeping an ancient Egyptian slab. As a result, he is visited by King Ramses. The king appears outside their home and just sways back and forth, repeating in a creepy whisper, "Return the slab." That alone can send shivers down anyone's spine. Then you have the episode Freaky Fred, where Muriel's cousin Fred comes into town to visit. Fred looks insane with his creepy wide-mouthed smile and slanted eyebrows. What's even worse is that he has creepy inner dialogue that only the audience can hear, which, may I add, is entirely in rhymes. And then we find out that he has an obsession with shaving people until they are bald. He ends up getting locked in the bathroom with Courage, where he shaves off all of his fur. You can see Courage shaking in fear as Fred does the deed. And while this happens, sounds of creepy children singing fill the screen. And let's not forget about the episode where Muriel gets possessed. That's right, she gets possessed from demons in her mattress. In one scene, she is laughing menacingly while her head spins around in a circle before her head just falls off. In another scene, she opens her mouth and a giant bumpy tongue extends out and licks Eustace. Then she vomits green slime all over him. Obviously, it's a reference to the Exorcist movies. But in every episode, there is at least one scary or disturbing thing that happens. And that's all I have for you for today. Comment down below what your favorite cartoon is. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Top 5 Scary Videos for more scary content. I'm your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see you. Alright, so the Crypt Keeper, classic cartoon. Little train coming in. And can't lie, I had a, ooh, what was that noise? Someone's playing an instrument. Okay. Take 17.